Welcome back to Let's Get Started. Hopefully by now you've decided that miniature painting is for you, with our little introduction to our painting sessions. So just as a recap, in the first few videos we had these guys. So there's one that's just having no thinned paint, no base coat or primer, and it looks all right. It's your first shot. Second shot is no primer, but thinned paint, and there's a bit of difference, And then the third one is primer, thinned paint, and a bit of dry brushing on top. The teeth didn't come out exactly how I imagined them, but it looks a lot darker on camera. Actually, you probably see that more. Yeah. So if you haven't checked them out, go check out those videos and maybe paint along with me. It'd be fantastic. Now today we are going to paint this guy. This is a referee from one of the Blood Bowl games. So season 2, and we're going to be using speed paints primarily. Now I may touch this up with some acrylics afterwards, but we're just going to take a look at speed paints today. So what I've got is some Army Speed Painter paints, and I have one Citadel Contrast. So we'll start with the Citadel Contrast. So a Hex Wraith Flame, so it's a nice vibrant green. Quite like the look of this, so I really want to try it out. And then we have Crusader Skin and Fire Giant Orange. We have Hardened Leather, have a Runic Grey, a Darkwood and a Cloudburst Blue, and a Pallid Bone and Grim Black. And we have our wet palette. Now you should only need 2 or 3 brushes for this. I have the Army Painter brush that came with the speed paints. It's a nice wide brush, so you can lay down quite a bit. We have the Games Workshop Citadel Detail brush. That's how old this brush is. It's Games Workshop. I don't think they do Games Workshop stuff anymore. It's just called Warhammer. And lastly, we have a Mini Majestic paintbrush by Royal and Langnickel, and this is the very fine one for all those little details. So let's make a start. Now what are we going to do for this guy? Well, I'm thinking we do an orange beard with Crusader Skin. We give him the Hex Wraith Flame coloured tunic, or maybe half and half, so half Hex Wraith Flame, the other half Runic Grey. The big book on his back, maybe some Darkwood and Cloudburst Blue mixed together, Pallid Bone for the pages, and our Grim Black is just to darken things out if we so wish. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the orange flame. Going to give it a shake. So shake it up nice and good. There you go. Now there's also some mixing bowls in here, which are getting a bit stuck. So give this just another second and give it a rave. So we want those. There we go. There you go. So you can hear the shaking. That's what we want. Okay. And because we're only using small amounts, just 1 drop should be enough. There we go. And we're going to start with our Citadel Detail brush, because it's quite, it's just a small area. So I'm just going to wet my brush, dry it off, so it's nice and smooth. And the good thing with speed paints is that you don't actually have to thin them down. They're already pre-thinned. For some of them you might want to thin them down just a bit more, depending on what you want. But yeah, just load up the brush and let's get started. Now, it will come on quite a different colour when you start with, but once it dries, it actually turns a nice vibrant colour. You can sort of see it starting there already. And the good thing about speed paints or contrast paints is that they just get into all those little recesses and give you shades and highlights straight away when they dry. And there you go. So we're just gonna get the side there. Remember, folks, the biggest thing about getting started is the fear that you're going to make a mistake. And if you make a mistake, that's all right. I don't expect this to be perfect. I don't expect this to be the best model in the world. I don't plan on winning or entering any Golden Demon awards. You know, I'm doing this all from my phone, like I keep saying, and maybe you're painting along with me, you know, your own model. Not necessarily this model, but yeah. I quite like the Blood Bowl models. I think they're a nice little change, like something very different to what we normally see when we look at miniature painting and, you know, the whole Games Workshop Warhammer franchise. Now, even though Blood Bowl is done by Games Workshop, it's just different. I mean, you'll find that there's some crossover, you know, like with the orcs and humans and Dark Eldar and Eldari, elves, that sort of thing. But they put a whole new spin on it, and I'm trying to learn it, but getting someone to join in with me is proving a little challenging. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my finer detail brush just for this next part. So remember to rinse off your brushes and just pop it to the side and just give that a little dip. Wet the bristles and take it from there. So as you can see, this is a much finer brush, ideal for getting those harder to reach places. And that's good, that we can get all these little details. So this is the parts in our journey where we maybe take a little bit of pride in our models. You know, we want to bring out certain details. We want them to look nice. You know, it doesn't matter if they look like they've been through the dishwasher. It's all about what you are enjoying and what you're comfortable with. And you know, we've all got to start somewhere. I mean, pretty sure I've had that Games Workshop brush for oh good grief, 20 years. I've got some models on my shelf that are 20 years old. Started collecting them when I was a teenager, and then just like a lot of people, you just sort of fall out of love with it. You know, it gets a bit much. And as an adult, you realize the importance of the hobby itself and how important having this decompression outlet really is. And I'll just get the edges over here. I realise that you might not be able to fully see it properly, but unfortunately I don't have any over the shoulder shot cameras, just using my phone. And you can start this as well, you know, if you wanted to. Just use your phone. I mean, most phones nowadays come with fairly decent camera. There's a lot of free programs which will help you upscale the video. Yeah, there we go. So that doesn't look too bad, does it? Nice vibrant bushy beard. Just get the ends here. And what I'll do is I'll show you a really horrific model that's on my shelf, just so you know I'm not talking smack. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna rinse off that brush and dry it off, and you know, don't go licking your brushes, folks, it's just weird. Okay, next up, Crusader skin. So we're going to do the skin. You can hear the ball bearing. That's the word I wanted earlier. And again, just a single drop should do. And now let's see. Okay, we'll use the stitched up brush. Actually, no, let's use the army painter brush, just to let it have a bit of fun. You know, we'll get it involved, and we'll switch to the other brushes as we continue on. So, just gonna load up that brush. There you go. Always annoys me when you get these little air bubbles. I feel like they shouldn't be there. Okay, and here we go. Now, you can see this is a very sort of darker colour. But what will happen is as it dries, it will become lighter. Now I'm playing a dangerous game here, getting it close with this thicker brush. Get the nose. I mean, look, we've got a nice big brush. Comes with the Army Speed Painter set. And we've got some good control with it. Just seems to do the job nicely. And we can get very close to edges. Without having to worry too much. Remember to move the model around, folks, okay? You know, don't necessarily try and move your brush around the model, but move the model around your brush. Just gonna tidy up that cheek there. And tidy up that cheek there. So this might need a second layer, which is fine. We're just gonna let that dry, and we're gonna get the hand. Trying to be careful not to get the whistle. Now, you can see like the colour just seems to be exactly the same, but I promise you once it dries, it will be a different colour. Just got to kind of trust the process. That's the thing with speed paints, is they go on one shade, and then they dry a completely different shade. The more vibrant colours, you know, come out looking absolutely stunning. Purples are the best ones, I think. They just come out looking fantastic. Really pigmented and vibrant. The muter colours, like skin, does occasionally need one coat or two, depending on what you're going to achieve, or what you want to achieve. I find 2 coats with the skin colour works relatively well. Okay, so that's that one there. Okay, now we're just gonna get the other arm. And you know, folks, pop something in the comments, you know, if you like this kind of video, you know, sort of soft spoken, long form. If you want something shorter with maybe a voiceover, and we get through the videos a lot quicker, let me know how what you think on how you feel about it. I'm more than happy to change it up a little bit, try something new, you know, get started on something different. because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just trialing new things as we go. I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but base is in the way. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Now we can see that his legs are somewhat exposed, and we're just gonna go for it right there and there. So it's amazing how good this brush is. You know, like, I'm not a brush connoisseur or anything, but for a standard starter brush that came in with the packet, it's really quite good. I mean, I think these are speed paint ones. I don't know which version they are, just the army speed painters. Speed paint paints, I don't know. The whole packet cost about £50. So, you know, and it comes with quite a few sets, and I'll maybe show you in a little bit. Sorry, I realise I'm getting... Oh, there we go. Good thing about speed paints is that if you make a mistake, you can brush it off very quickly, which is great. Now I'm going to switch to a finer detail brush for this part. I'm a big fan of this detail brush. It's I find it to be very, very useful. And then I'm just going to pop in another drop of speed paint, because we are getting thin on it, and well, unfortunately, as much as I dislike wasting the paint, unfortunately sometimes it is needed. Now let's see if we can get this into focus, and hopefully my eyes can focus as well, and just doing this nice and gently. Just getting those nice shapes around the ankles. We'll come back to this side as well, and we'll get just around the ankle there and there. Let's see if we can't get that in a bit more. Fantastic. And we're just going to get the back of the leg. Now this requires a little bit of dexterity. Amazed my shaky hands are letting me do this. There's actually a bit of space just here on the inside of the ankle as well. I don't want too much paint. Don't want it flowing too far into something that I don't want it to. Yeah, there we go, that's great. And then we will just get this side. Now, I feel like I should be talking about certain things when it comes to this, but I never really know what to say. You know, like, what do most people talk about? They talk about what's going on in the world, Games Workshop or whatever. Maybe give you, you know, positive affirmations. You know, you're doing a great job. Keep at it. That sort of thing. Like, I don't know what you guys want. If there's something you'd like, please let me know. That way I'm not rambling too much. Or maybe you just like listening to my voice, and it's somewhat soothing and calming to you, in which case I am very flattered. There you go. Okay, so as we've been doing that, the speed paint has actually been drying, and this is what we have so far. So you can see that contrast between the beard and the skin, and that looks really good. This is what the good thing about speed paints is. You don't need a lot of skill with them, because it does most of the work for you. So if you are looking to create something, get an army up and ready as quickly as you can, speed paints are the way to go. In fact, I was watching a video the other day, great little speed paint tutorial with, I think they were using Citadel speed paints. I can't quite remember, or if it was Army ones. I'll link it in the description below. I think it's by a guy called Warhammer, and he had a very good video of it. Okay, so now you may have seen that I'm just taking from the top there rather than putting it on the wet palette. Mostly just I want to see what happens, because I've never used this before. So I'm going to pick a nice wide area, and I am going to pop it there. Okay. Yeah, that went on fairly smooth, fairly easy. No real complaints. All right, let's keep going, and we'll see how it dries. I'll only do half of his tunic to start with, to the top half, because I might want the bottom half to be a different colour. So we'll there we go, just pop that in. Now it does seem to be flowing into the recesses, which is great. And there we go. I'll pick up the finer details with the detail brush. Try and just be as cool and collected as I can. Now remember, you can use, oh, I'm getting a bit too much in there, so just going to take some off. There we go. Your acrylic paints with your speed paints, just, oh, sorry, mouse focus, guys, really sorry about that, I keep doing it. Don't worry, I'll get there eventually. Just make sure your speed paints are fully dry. Oh, I don't want to do that part, that's supposed to be leather. Oh, okay, well, that's alright, we can get to that. So yeah, make sure your speed paints are fully dry before applying acrylic paints. Why? Because the speed paints tend to get reactivated with water. So if you're using thin down paints, it can reactivate them and sort of create this like chipping effect. Okay, let me rinse that off. We're going to go to the more detail brush now. And again, we're going to just pick up a little bit of that. And all I'm doing is getting as close to things as possible with this. So just getting as far into the edges, letting it flow as naturally as possible. Just get this on the back here. Now this is where my hands get very shaky, and I really hope I don't mess it up, but that's alright, we'll call it a feature. Now the thing is, with these sort of adventures that we go on, only you are going to know if a mistake was made, because you're the one painting it. If you feel that you've made an error, well, here's the thing, no one's going to know. They're not going to be like, oh no, you've done this wrong, this is absolutely terrible. Wait till I show you one of my models. God, that'll be a little bit horrific. You'll be like, but you've just painted this really great model. I'm like, yeah, but the other one's great as well in its own right. You know, I think it looks great for what I tried to do with it many moons ago. And don't be afraid to experiment. You know, as the saying goes, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try again. That's a load of rubbish. If at first you don't succeed, figure out why you went wrong, or where you went wrong, or how you went wrong, and learn from your mistake. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And there we go. Now I do quite like this green colour. It's very thin, so the sort of lighter undertones really do pull through. That's something with speed paints you should be very, very careful with. Always work light to dark with speed paints. Don't work dark to light like you would with acrylic paints, because the speed paint will pick up from underneath. So whatever colour you've got going on underneath is likely to affect the colour on top. So if you're trying to put a light colour on top of a dark colour, it's going to pull through the darker colour. So you'll lose your light colour. Whereas you can put the dark colour on top of the light and it will sort of shade it out. Okay. There we go. Okay, that's not a bad green actually. I do quite like that. Yeah, that's a really nice green. It's really sort of pulled away and giving you some really good highlights on the top. Some darker nice in the recesses. Yeah, and that's only one coat. That's a really good paint. I like that. Might have to use that for more stuff. Okay, so I'll give that off. So, what's next? Well, I want to do the other half of his tunic, but we're going to use a sort of grey colour. Okay. There we go. Drop and a half. And I'll start from the front with a detail brush. Oh no. Let's use the slightly larger brush. You know, the Citadel detail brush, Games Workshop one. Just so we can lay on quite a bit of colour. Again, I'm out of focus. Now this one's quite thin, a bit thinner than I expected. And don't worry if you don't get the perfect consistency straight away. It'll take a bit of time, and you'll get to learn what works well for you, what doesn't work well for you. You know, they say you'll learn the nature of the paints, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't learned anything about the nature of paints. I just think if it works, great, it works. Try not to, you know, play about with it too much, and you know, just sort of take it from there. Like let it just sink in, let it just do what it's got to do. Now this is the perfect application of speed paint right here. Very difficult area to get to, so just load up the brush and you literally can just touch it on and the paint will begin flowing off the brush into those recesses. Look at that. How good is that for paint? It just flows all the way around. You want to tidy up some of the edges, that's fine. If you feel like you've put a bit too much on, just take it off your brush, dry it off, stick your dry brush in, and it will soak it up. There we go, okay. So we'll see what that looks like once it's dried. And next up, give that a little rinse off. You know, some people say, you know, it only takes like 10 minutes to speed paint a model. I don't find that. You know, this is a 30-minute video so far, and we're maybe halfway there. Hopefully it won't take us too long to finish the rest. So, oh, missed a little bit. So you always got to double check how the model looks and sort of fits together, because this is part of the tunic. And it's alright if you miss a part here and there, you can always come back and get it. There's no shame in it, no, oh no, I've made a mistake, got to fix it immediately. None of that, no. Just be cool. Okay, there we go. Okay, next big step. Now we want to do his belts and the leather straps, so we are going to use a little bit of hardened leather, and I think we're also going to do his shoes in a hardened leather fashion. However, you know, they look kind of square, like, rather than leather shoes. Like, maybe we darken or brighten up a little bit, because they're maybe a bit worn or something. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use some hardened leather. I'm going to use 1 drop of hardened leather and some pallid bone. Kind of brighten it up a little bit. You know, they've been worn up and down. 2 drops of pallid bone. Put these to the side. And for his shoes, we will use the detailer brush. We're going to mix those together. Now you might not be able to see much of a difference because it's currently wet, but once it dries it should have a completely different consistency. Now let's go for it. There we go. That's it right there. So you always get that fear of putting it down, and then the second you do, boom, off to the races. And there we go. Getting it nice and close to the edges, like so, and that's really good. That's really on point. Perfect. Okay, we're just going to pick up a little bit more, layer it on. It's alright if it runs off onto the base a little bit. It's probably a bit too much on that brush. I'll get rid of some of it. There we go. Oh, much better. There we go. A little brush. Now you see what I mean by picking up what's underneath. So there's a bit of grey on the shoe, and that sort of picks it up with the speed paint. So maybe if I wanted to darken it, I might have to do a couple extra layers on top of it, or maybe put down a bit of acrylic or a very vibrant colour, because once the leather one dries and the powdered bone dries, it looks nice, you know, it does. It's just quite a light colour. Okay, while we've got this out, let's go back to our hardened leather. Okay, just need a single drop of this. I'm just going to pop this next to there. All good. And we're going to get our fine brush, and we are going to do the belt. There we go, so look at that, wonderful. You just put a single drop on and it just flows into where we want it to go. Now, I don't know if you can, the problem with the one angle models, or one angle for models, is that certain parts of it get in the way, so it does kind of get a bit annoying. Okay, a bit harder, a bit more. We're going to get these straps as well. Yeah, let's go for here. There we go, get that underneath. You're probably thinking, well, what about the books? Well, the books I'm going to do in a mixture of colours, and it should be a very nice contrast against the leather. Now, one thing I want to mention, folks, is when it comes to colour schemes and what have you, and the art styles, and you know, whatever you see on the box, you don't have to stick to it. You can do whichever paint scheme you like, whatever colours you gel with, whatever it is that you like. And it's like, there's just so many choices out there. You know, just because one person does it one way doesn't mean you have to do it that way as well. Okay, so you look at that, just catching it off of the leather there onto the shirt, which is a little bit annoying, but hey, what are you going to do, eh? As they say, them's the breaks, kids. Now, here's an interesting part. We have the contrast paint. Here, I need to put some leather on there. Come back to that in a second. Got quite a lot here. Quite a lot here. There we go. There we go. Come back to this part here. You see, like, I've taken a lot of paint off the brush by using it and just coming back to this, and the brush soaks it up nice and easy. Okay. Oh, I don't have steady hands. I don't have steady hands. But that's alright. You don't need steady hands. You just need to enjoy what you're doing. Oh, getting very sort of nervous doing this. Don't know why. You know, just enjoying myself, having some fun. It doesn't matter if I make a mistake. And I have to keep telling myself that as well. Like, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. Fantastic. Now, I do realise that probably a shorter form video may be much more interesting to a lot of you with just a very simple voiceover. But, oh, I quite like these long form videos. Gives me a chance to relax and just talk away. Bit of a talker sometimes when no one's around, talk to myself quite a lot. It's the first sign of madness, talking to yourself. Second sign's answering back. Okay, that's leather as well. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, remember folks to give your brush a little rinse off every now and then, just to help keep it nice and fresh and keeping the point on it nice and crisp. And there we go. Okay, let's just get to this part here. Fantastic. Now, is that a leather part? Yeah, that's a leather part. Okay, so we're gonna actually just go in for it here. Is it a leather part though? I'm not sure. We'll come back to that and make a decision. Doesn't have to be a leather part, it could be whatever we want it to be, really. And there we go. Alright, those are the leather parts done that I feel. Yeah, you know what, that's it. That's it for the leather parts. Anything more will come across in a bit. Okay, give that a little rinse off. Okay, now you can see how the sort of grey's dried. I think that's a nice little contrast there. And the shoes as well. Okay, what's next? Well, next up is our dark wood and cloudburst blue. Okay, we're going to mix these two together, and these are going to be the covers for the cover of this big book. And then maybe we'll make some other colours for the smaller books. So, dark wood. One drop of dark wood should be enough. And cloudburst blue. And give this 2 drops. Yeah, let's see, how's that gonna look? Yeah, that'll be fine. Just debating whether or not we add in some white. Okay, I'll give that a nice little mix. And let's just put it on. Oh gosh, that is a thick colour. Very vibrant. Be curious to see how this dries. I don't realise I'm out of shot again. Sorry folks. You must get so frustrated with me going out of shot constantly. You're like, damn it, I just wanna see the models being painted. There we go. So smooth. It is incredible. Now this is where we do have to be very, very careful, because this is a dark colour. Like I said earlier, I can't put a lighter colour on top for it to thin out or to show through. It has to be dark onto light, not light onto dark. And we're just going to get at the back here. And let's go. There we go. Fantastic. That's it right there. Excellent. Okay. That's not too bad. You know, it's a nice, nice sort of shade. I quite like it. It's almost black. Interesting. Well, we've gone with it. Let's keep rolling, and just see what comes of it. You know, that's what this is all about. It's a bit of an adventure. You know, you don't need to be afraid. Just have some fun. Now, I'm not big into sort of the Warhammer lore or anything like that. So, unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say around that, or, you know, what goes on with companies and all the trouble that Games Workshop seems to be facing. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm not a die-hard hobbyist. I'm just an average hobbyist. I do this because I enjoy it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is solely for me. And, you know, I'm just taking you guys along for the journey. Maybe you pick up a few bits and pieces, you know. Maybe you figure you don't like painting. And, you know, maybe we'll try other things on this channel as well. Not just painting miniature models, but like other forms of art expression, and see how that turns out for us. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this blue. I'm going to use this colour. It's a bit much. And I'm going to pop that in there. I feel like I need to move the camera a little bit close to myself. I find that naturally we just pull things close to ourselves. So trying to do this at a distance can be a bit tricky. Now, I can use the wide angle on the phone, but it doesn't seem to capture detail very well. Like, I've always got to, or even with this one, I've still got to upscale to higher quality. It's like if I just uploaded this as is, probably only be able to view it at maybe 380, 360, sorry, 480 if you're lucky. So, yeah, that's what that is. And, you know, maybe when YouTube first started that was acceptable, but, well, you know, you've got, if you're watching on your phone constantly, to be honest, 480 is good. If you're watching on a smaller device, you know, you don't need to have too much going on. Oh, I've taken off a bit of paint there, so let's just fix that right now. The good thing is that's the hardened leather, so that's this one. And we'll just cover that up. So a bit hardened leather, I'm going to cover that up. There we go, and just get the rest of this leather strap right here. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Okay, let's get some of these pages done. Now we're going to use the pallid bone. And we are going to use... we'll use the thicker one. Okay, so a bit of pallid bone. All we're going to do is pop it in. It's just going to flow straight into those recesses. Now the good thing is that I can be a little bit more heavy-handed because, as I said earlier, light onto dark doesn't really work. So we can just sort of go for it. And that's a great thing. No fear there, because you can just pop it on and you've got no worries. Now this might need 2 coats. There you go. Da, 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 da. Perfect. Ah, oh, that's perfect. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, and we can get books here, and here, and here, and then this one, just here, and here. Okay, this one doesn't need to be too neat. Now, that appears to be a book under there, or some papers, but I figure we will just do it like the book. And now you can't see very well. Try and get a good angle for you. It would help if I was in shot. Oh, I'm not having a good time today, folks. Really not having a good time today. Okay. That's that. Now, let's just do these. Let's do this book. One of these books. A dark wood. And do the smaller book, the dark wood. So use the finer brush. And there we go. Just pop it on. Being very, very careful. This is where we have a fine brush. Now you do have to be careful with speed paints, because if you have too much put down, it will start to run, and it will run in a direction that you don't want it to go in. So do be very, very careful, folks. And there we have it. That's that. Let's just get the top here. Yep, perfect. Okay, so that's one. That's yeah, and what colour should we do these ones? Now, if he's kind of on the darker side, so let's brighten him up a little bit. Just give him something to grab the attention. Let's do a nice blood red. There you go. In fact, we'll do that just underneath him here, just to sort of break it up a little bit. So we're going to pop that down there. Now that is a vibrant colour. Look at that. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, got that nice little pop. And the good thing is it's by his beard, so it blends in nicely, but not too garishly. And we'll do, what should we do? Do a nice ball. Cool. What colour? See, that's the question now. We've got that. You know what? Let's just keep it red. We'll have 2 red books and one brown. Or let's mix them together. There we go. Let's mix them together. Darken up just that little bit more, just to give it a completely different shade. You know, they're all different books. More of a leather crimson book. Just mop off some of that paint. Oh, I do like that. That's a very, very beautiful colour. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. I don't know how you guys would feel, but maybe a bit of music in the background of this, help you focus and paint. Let me know what would work well for you guys. And get some nice jazz overlaid, and you can paint with me and just sort of relax. Now, I realise that this is a very long form video, in fact longer than all the others, so generally speaking, that is a great model. Look at that. Nice and fantastic. In fact, we could probably go over this with a bit of acrylics, a bit of dry brushing. But just to add a little bit of flair, a bit of purple alchemy. It's a nice bright purple. And in fact, let's be foolish. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to take this and splash it on there. There we go. Just going to splash that. It's absolutely beautiful. Excellent. Oh, now I can see that we've just missed a small spot. So let's just capture that right here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Looking good. And yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that white for now, and we'll come back to that later on. Because right now, that is a very good looking model. And it's taken us about an hour to paint this model. So, hour and 10 minutes to probably finish it off altogether. In fact, no, I'm not going to leave it because my brain won't let me do it. So we'll get a bit of black, bit of grim black. Gonna pick that up. No, we can't leave it unfinished, can we, folks? Gonna paint the pot black. I mean, you'd never forgive me if I did. Be screaming at the screen. How dare you? And there we go. Right, slow down, slow down. It's alright, gotta slow down just a little bit. Okay. Let's just take that purple and just touch up the edges here. There we go. Okay. Come on, let's think about this. What do we want? What do we want? We want something that's maybe bright metallic. We don't actually have any metallics, but what we do have is some grey. We have some yellow. Bit of orange instead, give it sort of a rusty colour. And we can brighten it up with white. Yeah, alright, let's do that. Let's do that. God, we are on an adventure today, folks. Absolute adventure. So, 1 drop of orange. 2 drops of orange. Okay, we want to get that colour in. 1 drop of grey. No, 2 drops of grey. No, 1 drop. We can always add more, can't take away. And then some white. Now, oddly enough, this doesn't actually come out as a vibrant white, so we're going to put 2 drops of white. And then we are going to mix it together. There you go, see that's kind of all going together. There we go. It's actually a very, very nice colour. Very proud of that actually, if I do say so. Okay, so sort of a brownish rusty colour. Give it a bit more orange. No, let's go for yellow. We will go for the yellow. Just sort of bring up that pigment a little bit. We'll put in a few drops of yellow. Give that a good mix up. There we go, that makes it a little bit brighter. Yeah, there you go, that's more of a rustic colour. Yeah. Okay, and we are going to just pop this straight on there. There we go, done. And that's just going around onto there. Going to put it on here as well. Right up to the edges. All around. And on the underside. That's quite a lot. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Just clean that up ever so slightly. Get to the edges. Perfect. There you go. See, it's already started to dry, and that is a beautiful colour. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, you look at it here on the palette, and it looks like garbage, but what a absolutely stunning colour. In fact, you know, the buckles can be that colour as well. And the padlock. Okay, no other sort of buckles. In fact, there we go, and get these on his shoes. Oh, look at that, folks. We are absolutely driving this. So we're going to get this just on the top of his shoes. There we go. And give it to now we'll keep the whistle that colour, because you can see the whistle. I think that gives it a nice sort of shinier look. There we go, folks. Just going to tidy up one little thing. And our cloudburst blue. And that's just this little tiny bit in here. There we go. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And there we have it. Our model has taken an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 7 minutes. It's not perfect, you know. There's still some edges that could do with a tidy up. But we've learned something. I mean, look at that colour. Oh, absolute perfect contrasting colours. And I do like the green. That is such a vibrant green. And we've got the shoes and his skin and the books. And oh, that book, that absolute mahogany looking book. Perfect. Okay, folks, hopefully you've enjoyed painting along. You've seen pretty much half of the colours I've used from the Army Speed Painter. I think it's the beginner set. Comes with a brush and quite a few paints. What's our next project? Well, at the moment I'm currently working on the goblins for Blood Bowl. So you know, we look at this guy, for example. You know, oh, that's what I was going to show you. I will be 1 second. There we go. Okay, so like I said, absolutely horrific models. Look at this. Look at this. Absolutely shocking, isn't it? But you know what? I learned a lot from this. So I learned like the sort of battle damage kind of thing. You know, just took a knife to it and figured it out. I tried messing around with some green stuff. You know, taking out his eye. This is built from like 2 or 3 different weapons altogether, and just turned upside down, really. Old jetpack. And then you look at this guy, like, look at him, he's absolutely horrific. Horrific. But you know what? Doesn't matter. I know what these are. These are gold to me. So folks, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to the next video, and I'll see you then. And remember, stay bad, folks.